I watched my 12-year-old son Jake light up as he tore open the elaborately wrapped box on Christmas morning. A £5, exactly what he'd been dreaming of all year. My mother-in-law, Diana, sat in her designer armchair, a self-satisfied smile playing across her perfectly made-up face. "Grandma, this is amazing," Jake exclaimed, hugging the box to his chest. "Can I set it up now?" "Of course, sweetheart," Diana cooed, shooting me a pointed look. "Since your mother couldn't manage to get you one, I had to step in." I bit my tongue, remembering the countless hours I'd spent trying to track down a £5 within our budget after Tom, my husband, lost his job. Diana knew our financial situation. She just chose to ignore it, like she ignored anything that didn't fit her perfect family narrative. Jake's excitement quickly turned to confusion as he opened the box. Instead of a gaming console, he found it stuffed with department store receipts and handwritten IOUs. His face fell, and my heart broke watching his disappointment. "Grandma," he asked, his voice small, "there's no £5 in here." Diana waved her manicured hand dismissively. "Oh, darling, I'm having it delivered later. Those are just promises for all the games we'll buy together. Isn't that fun? Like a treasure hunt." I knew better. This was classic Diana. All show, no substance. She pulled similar stunts before, making grand promises she never intended to keep. But this time, she'd gone too far. This wasn't about me. She'd hurt my son. "Jake, honey, why don't you go show your dad your other presents?" I suggested, keeping my voice steady. Once he left the room, I turned to Diana. "What were you thinking?" "Oh, lighten up, Sarah," she scoffed. "He's fine. I'll get him the console eventually, maybe for his birthday if he behaves." "He's not one of your society friends, Diana. You can't just write IOUs to a child on Christmas morning." She stood up, smoothing her expensive silk blouse. "Well, if you and Tom had managed your money better, I wouldn't have to make promises, would I? Really, Sarah, working part-time at a bookstore. What kind of example are you setting?" My job at the bookstore had been a lifeline after Tom's tech company downsized. It kept food on the table and helped with Jake's school expenses. Diana had never worked a day in her life, living off her late husband's fortune and spending her days orchestrating family drama. That evening, after an awkward Christmas dinner where Diana regaled us with stories of her country club friends' extravagant gifts to their grandchildren, I found Jake in his room, staring at the empty £5 box. "I'm sorry, honey," I said, sitting beside him. "Grandma shouldn't have done that." "It's okay, Mom," he shrugged, but I could see the hurt in his eyes. "I know you and Dad are trying your best." I hugged him tight, making a silent promise to fix this. What Jake didn't know was that I'd been saving every spare dollar from my bookstore job for months. I had a secret account, something I'd started after Diana's last grand gesture left us scrambling to cover promised expenses she conveniently forgot about. The next morning, Diana called, her voice syrupy sweet. "Sarah, darling, about the £5 situation. I'm having second thoughts. These gaming consoles, they're not good for children. All that screen time. Maybe it's better if Jake just returns the box to me. I can give him something more educational instead." I knew what this meant. She had either never intended to buy the console or she found something else to spend the money on. Probably another designer bag to show off at her next lunch date. "Actually, Diana," I replied, keeping my voice level, "I think we'll hold on to the box. For when the console arrives." "Don't be difficult, Sarah. I'll need that box back by New Year's. I'm coming to collect it tomorrow." Before I could respond, she hung up. I sat at my kitchen table, anger and determination warring inside me. Then I made a call to my friend Marcus, who owned the local gaming store. We'd been working together on a payment plan, and I'd finally saved enough. "Hey Marcus, remember that £5 we talked about? I'm ready." That afternoon, while Jake was at his friend's house, I drove to Marcus's store. The console was beautiful, and Marcus had even thrown in an extra controller and a game, knowing our situation. He'd seen Jake grow up, coming into the store just to look at the games he couldn't afford. "Diana's at it again?" he asked as he rang up the sale. I nodded, counting out the carefully saved cash. "But this time, I'm ready." "You're a good mom, Sarah," Marcus said, helping me load the console into my car. "Jake's lucky to have you." That night, after Jake went to bed, I sat in the living room with Tom, showing him the console I'd hidden in our closet. Sarah, he sighed, how did you manage this? I've been saving, I said simply. Your mother can't keep doing this to Jake. I won't let her. Tom ran a hand through his hair, looking tired. His mother's manipulative behavior had always been a source of tension between us. You're right, I should have stood up to her years ago. I squeezed his hand. Well, tomorrow, when she comes demanding that empty box back, we'll both stand up to her. Diana was in for a surprise, and for once I couldn't wait to see her reaction. Sometimes the best revenge isn't confrontation. It's simply being prepared. Diana arrived the next morning in her Mercedes, dressed like she was heading to a board meeting rather than collecting an empty box. I watched through the window as she checked her reflection in her car mirror before strutting up our driveway. I'll just grab the box and go, she announced as soon as I opened the door, not bothering with a greeting. I have lunch plans at the club. Actually, Diana, we should talk, I said, stepping aside to let her in. Jake's in the living room. He has something to show you. She followed me, her designer heels clicking against our hardwood floors. The sound of gaming music filled the air as we entered the living room. Jake sat cross-legged on the floor, completely absorbed in his new 5 pounds, while Tom stood nearby, arms crossed. Diana froze, her perfectly plucked eyebrows shooting up. What's this? My 5 pounds, Grandma. Jake beamed, pausing his game. Mom got it for me yesterday. It's amazing. I watched the emotions play across Diana's face, confusion, anger, embarrassment. Her carefully maintained composure cracked. But that's not possible, she sputtered. Sarah, how did you afford this? Unlike some people, I replied calmly, when I make a promise, I make sure I can keep it. I've been saving for months. You had no right, Diana hissed, lowering her voice so Jake couldn't hear. This was supposed to be my gift to him. You're making me look bad. Tom stepped forward. No, Mom. You made yourself look bad when you gave my son an empty box full of false promises. Thomas. Diana gasped, pressing a hand to her chest. How dare you speak to me like that? After everything I've done for this family? What exactly have you done, Mom? Tom asked. Besides making promises you don't keep and criticizing every decision we make. Diana's face flushed red. She opened her expensive handbag and pulled out a checkbook. Fine. How much was it? I'll write you a check right now. The console can be from me as originally planned. I shook my head. It's not about the money, Diana. It's about respecting our family and not playing games with Jake's feelings. Games? She scoffed. I'm trying to give my grandson the best of everything, something you two clearly can't manage on your own. The best of everything isn't empty boxes and broken promises, Tom said firmly. It's having parents who work hard and keep their word. Jake had stopped playing, watching the exchange with wide eyes. Diana noticed his attention and quickly switched tactics, her voice turning syrupy sweet again. Darling, she cooed at Jake, wouldn't you rather tell your friends the 5 pounds was from Grandma? I'll even add in more games than your mother could afford. Before I could intervene, Jake surprised us all. No thanks, Grandma. I like that it's from Mom. She worked really hard for it. Diana recoiled as if she'd been slapped. Her designer mask cracked completely, revealing the bitter woman beneath. Well, she snapped, gathering her purse. I can see I'm not wanted here. Don't expect any more gifts from me. And I'll be telling everyone at the club how you've turned my own grandson against me. Mom, Tom called as she headed for the door. You can't buy love with empty promises. She paused, hand on the doorknob. For a moment, I thought I saw genuine hurt in her eyes. But then it was gone, replaced by her usual cold disdain. We'll see how well love pays the bills, she said and slammed the door behind her. The house fell silent except for the gentle background music from Jake's game. Tom wrapped an arm around my shoulders, and I leaned into him, feeling drained but relieved. I'm sorry, Jake said suddenly. I didn't mean to make Grandma mad. Hey, buddy, Tom knelt beside him. You did nothing wrong. Sometimes adults need to hear the truth, even if it hurts. I watched them together, feeling a surge of pride. We might not have Diana's money or social connections, but we had something more valuable, honesty and real love. Later that evening, my phone buzzed with messages from Diana's country club friends. She'd apparently spent the afternoon spinning her version of events, painting herself as the victim of ungrateful children. A few distant relatives called, urging us to apologize before Diana wrote us out of her will. Let her, Tom said when I showed him the messages. "We've spent too many years dancing to her tune." He was right. Diana's money had always been her favorite tool for manipulation, dangled in front of us like a carrot, then yanked away the moment we showed any independence. Looking at Jake playing with his new £5, his face lit up with genuine joy. I knew we'd made the right choice. Sometimes the best gift you can give your child isn't the most expensive one. It's showing them that integrity matters more than empty promises and that real love can't be bought or stole. The empty £5 box sat in a corner, a reminder that sometimes the most valuable lessons come wrapped in disappointment. Tomorrow we'd let Jake decide what to do with it, but for now we were content in our small victory, having finally stood up to Diana's manipulative games. New Year's Eve arrived, bringing with it an unexpected series of events. While Jake was upstairs getting ready for our small family celebration, a text from Tom's sister, Ellen, popped up on my phone. "Mom's having a meltdown at the country club. She's telling everyone you stole her gift to Jake and demanding the empty box back. What's going on?" I showed the message to Tom, who shook his head in disbelief. "She's really lost it this time." Before we could respond, our doorbell rang. On our porch stood Ellen, looking flustered in her party dress. "I left Mom's New Year's gala early. You won't believe what she's planning." Over coffee, Ellen revealed that Diana had spent the past few days convincing everyone that she actually put cash inside the £5 box, $10,000 in $100 bills, supposedly meant for Jake's college fund. "She's claiming you stole the money and bought the £5 with it," Ellen explained. "She's threatening to go to the police." Tom and I exchanged glances, then burst out laughing. "The box," I said, retrieving it from the closet. "We never threw it away." Together, we opened the box in front of Ellen. Inside were exactly what we'd found on Christmas morning: store receipts and handwritten IOUs in Diana's elegant script. Ellen photographed everything, her hands shaking. "She's gone too far this time. Half the club members have already promised to contribute to Jake's stolen college fund. She's collecting donations." "That's fraud," Tom said quietly. "She's actually committing fraud." I remembered the careful documentation I kept of the £5 purchase, receipts, bank statements, even security footage from Marcus's store showing me buying it. Once again, my habit of being prepared would pay off. Ellen's phone buzzed. "Mom's telling people she's coming here now with the police." She looked up, worried. "What are you going to do?" "Let her come," I said calmly. "We have nothing to hide." When Diana arrived 30 minutes later, she brought not only 2 police officers but an audience, 3 of her country club friends who contributed to the stolen college fund. "There," she pointed dramatically at the £5 as an officer examined it. "That was bought with the money they stole from the box." I silently handed over my documentation to the officers: the receipt from Marcus's store, bank statements showing my systematic savings, and a statement from Marcus himself confirming our payment plan arrangement. "Mrs. Harrison," one officer said to Diana, "these documents clearly show how the console was purchased. Do you have any proof of the cash you claim was in the box?" Diana faltered for the first time. Her country club friends shifted uncomfortably. "The box," the other officer requested. "May we see it?" Ellen brought it out, along with her photos of its original contents. The IOUs were damning, each one in Diana's handwriting, promising future purchases that would never happen. "Mrs. Harrison," the officer said gravely, "making false police reports and collecting donations under false pretenses are serious offenses." Diana's face crumpled. Her perfectly crafted narrative was falling apart in front of her most important audience, her social circle. "I was only trying to help," she whispered, but her friends were already backing away, murmuring about returning the donations. In the end, Diana wasn't arrested. The officers gave her a stern warning and advised her to return any donations she collected. Her real punishment was watching her carefully constructed social status crumble. As her friends hurried to their cars, Diana turned to us one last time. "I hope you're happy," she spat. "You've ruined everything." "No, Mom," Tom said quietly. "You did that yourself." After everyone left, we found Jake sitting on the stairs. He'd witnessed everything. "Dad," he asked, "is Grandma going to be okay?" Tom hugged him tight. Sometimes people need to face consequences to learn and grow, even grandmas. Later that night, as we celebrated the New Year as a family, I received one final text from Ellen. "Mom's resigned from the country club. says she needs time to reevaluate her priorities. Maybe this was the wake-up call Diana needed. Or maybe not. But we've finally broken free from her manipulative games, and that was worth celebrating. Jake's £5 still sits in our living room, a symbol not just of hard work and honest savings, but of the moment we finally stood up to Diana's toxic behavior. The empty box. Jake decided to fill it with his own savings, teaching himself that real promises are the ones you keep yourself. Sometimes the best lessons come in unexpected packages, even empty ones.